Nike and other major retailers are in deep, deep trouble. And guess who's paying for it? You are. Imagine it's back-to-school season in America. You head to Walmart to grab a pair of sneakers for your kid, maybe some Nikes or Adidas. But when you check the price tag, you freeze. That $80 pair now costs $115. What happened? In one word, tariffs. Specifically, Donald Trump's new trade war, an aggressive tariff strategy hitting imports from dozens of countries. The headlines focus on China, but the real shock, a nearly 35% tariff on footwear from Indonesia and up to 49% on shoes from Vietnam, where most of your favorite brands actually make their products. But this story goes way deeper than sneaker prices. It's about unraveling the global economy, igniting trade wars, punishing working-class Americans, all while promising to make America great again. So who's actually winning here, and who's left paying the price? Okay, let's break it down. Stay with us. First, what is a tariff, and who really pays it? A tariff is a tax. It's a fee that the U.S. government charges when goods enter the country. But the foreign government doesn't pay it. American companies do. Let's say Nike makes shoes in Indonesia. When those shoes arrive at the port of Los Angeles, Nike now has to pay up to 35% of their declared value in tariffs to U.S. Customs. That money goes to the U.S. Treasury. What does Nike do with that cost? Yep, they pass it on to you through retail markups, through higher prices. You pay the tariff. Not China, not India, not Vietnam. You. It's a clever way to impose taxes without calling them taxes. Tariffs can sometimes protect local industries, but they can also become a tool of political performance, especially during election cycles. Let's look at the origins, how we got here. Look, this shift didn't happen overnight. For decades, the U.S. promoted free trade as the engine of global economic growth. The logic was simple. Let every country specialize in what it does best, lower the cost of goods, and everyone wins. This created an intricate web of global supply chains, where a sneaker designed in Oregon might be assembled in Vietnam using rubber from Malaysia, cotton from India, dyes from China. It worked, sort of. Prices dropped, corporate profits soared, China became the workshop of the world, and countries like Vietnam and Indonesia rapidly developed. But American factories closed. Union jobs vanished, and millions of workers were left behind. That economic plan, particularly in the Rust Belt, laid the foundation for Trump's America First agenda. So let's look at the true reality behind your sneakers. Over 97% of shoes and clothes sold in America are imported, most from countries with low labor costs and established manufacturing hubs: Vietnam, Indonesia, Bangladesh. Nike alone produces about 50% of its shoes in Vietnam and a massive share in Indonesia. Adidas, Puma, and countless other brands follow the same pattern. So when Trump's tariffs hit, it wasn't just a strike against foreign countries, it was a gut punch to the entire U.S. retail sector. A running shoe that cost $150 might now cost $220. A $26 kid's shoe could hit $40 plus. Now look, these are not hypotheticals. These are forecasts by the footwear distributors and retailers of America. Who feels it most? Working class families, parents, students, seniors on fixed incomes. It's a silent tax baked into the price tag. Most Americans won't even realize why things are suddenly more expensive. So what do they mean, these reciprocal tariffs? Trump's reciprocal tariffs. Well, on April the 3rd, Donald Trump unveiled a massive tariff package targeting 90-plus nations. He called them reciprocal tariffs, meaning that if a country imposes a 30% duty on American goods, the U.S. will now do the same to them. Sounds fair, right? But trade is not a zero-sum game. Many of these countries are developing nations who offer cheap labor. That's why U.S. companies manufacture there in the first place, right? Here are the new tariffs. Vietnam, 46% on footwear. Cambodia, 49%. Bangladesh, 37%. Indonesia, about 35%. These countries were once seen as alternatives to China. When Trump's first trade war with Beijing erupted, manufacturers diversified. They spread their risk, but now they're being punished again. The fallout, the stock market reacted instantly. Nike stocks minus 10%, Adidas minus 11%, Walmart, Amazon, Target all down 5 to 10%. Oh, investors knew what it all meant, okay? Rising prices, shrinking margins, falling demand. So who are the winners here? Trump says American workers. He wants to bring jobs back home, to rebuild factories, revitalize the Rust Belt. But here's the uncomfortable truth. America doesn't have the infrastructure to make shoes or clothes at scale. The supply chains are global. The raw materials are not here. And even if we built those factories, they'd be automated. Fewer jobs, more machines. A report from the American Apparel and Footwear Association makes it clear. Reviving U.S. footwear production would be hugely expensive, take years, and likely never compete on price. This is not a long-term solution. It's economic nostalgia, and it's being paid for by the very workers it claims to help. The real casualties, American consumers. Let's talk about impact with some examples. A single mom in Indiana now pays $25 more for her son's sneakers. A small business importing affordable hoodies sees its costs spike by 40%. A family of 5 delays winter clothing purchases because the prices are just too high. These aren't elite problems. They're everyday burdens, and they compound, especially in times of already high inflation. And remember, we're not just talking shoes. These tariffs hit apparel, textiles, electronics, auto parts, the very goods we rely on every single day. This is what economists call a regressive policy, one that hits low-income people hardest. It's a business backlash. The retailers are on the ropes. Retailers, especially discount giants like Walmart and Dollar Tree, rely on low-cost imports to survive. When tariffs go up, their options are grim. What can they do? Well, they can raise prices and risk losing customers, or absorb costs and risk going under, or cut corners, reduce quality, slash staff. None of these paths are good at all. The Retail Industry Leaders Association issued a statement warning that these tariffs will devastate thousands of small businesses and tens of millions of consumers. And the supply chain shifts are not easy. Moving production from Vietnam to Mexico sounds nice, but factories don't move overnight. Relationships, labor, logistics, building work, look, these take years to rebuild. Tariffs, meanwhile, hit instantly. It's basically a global domino effect we're looking at, ladies and gentlemen, because trade is a two-way street, and when you tax imports, other countries tax you back. Here's what we're already seeing. China have given us tariffs on soybeans, pork, semiconductors. Europe, tariffs on American energy, American cars, and American tech services. Indonesia, working on new trade deals with the EU, bypassing the United States. You see, the more isolated America becomes, the more others step up. China is already presenting itself as the champion of free trade, signing deals across Asia, Africa, and Latin America. And what about developing nations? Factories in Bangladesh or Cambodia that lose American orders will face layoffs, poverty, unrest. We're not just hurting ourselves, we're disrupting the livelihoods of millions around the world. Look, here's a warning from history. In the 1930s, the United States passed the Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act. This raised duties on thousands of imports to protect American industries. Sound familiar? The result? Global retaliation, a collapse in international trade, and an even deeper Great Depression. Economists today are sounding the alarm. We're walking a dangerous path, one that history has already warned us about. And this time, the stakes are higher. Our supply chains are more interconnected, our economies more fragile, our global rivals more assertive. This is not just policy, it's a gamble with the entire global order. So, will American manufacturing really return? Maybe, a little. Some textile plants in the South, a boot factory in Missouri, a microchip lab in Ohio. But don't be fooled by ribbon-cutting ceremonies and press releases. These are exceptions, not the new norm. For every new plant opened, there are dozens of small businesses struggling to stay alive under new cost burdens. And the jobs that do come back, they're often high-skill, low headcount. Great for engineers, not great for laid-off warehouse workers. It's a mirage. One that looks patriotic on camera, but costs far more than it delivers. So who's actually benefiting here? Well, a few domestic producers like New Balance or niche tool makers might gain short-term advantages. Some politically favored sectors like steel or aluminum might get subsidies. The U.S. Treasury collects tariff revenue, but meanwhile, retailers lose sales, families pay more, workers see their hours cut, developing nations suffer. This is a policy of winners and losers, and the losers far outnumber the winners. So what do we conclude from this? This is not a story about shoes. It's a story about control. It's about who shapes the global economy and at what cost, about whether economic nationalism really protects us or just isolates us. Tariffs may sound tough, but in practice, they're attacks on Americans, a disruption of global cooperation, and a dangerous tool when used carelessly. The global economy is like a web. Tug on one thread, and the tremors ripple everywhere. The promise was to put America first, but if tariffs continue down this path, we may be left asking, first, to what? To feel the pain? To pay the price? To lose our footing in the world we once built? This is Epic Economist. Stay informed, stay critical, and next time you pick up that $120 pair of sneakers, remember, someone made a profit. Someone made a decision. But the cost? That's still on you. Thanks for watching. Send this video to your friends and family and please subscribe.